Sorry guys for that abrupt break. I had to I had to double check myself. Guys, I'm in this with you. I'm trying to figure out with you, but I want to double check. Something didn't make sense to me, but because I realized, I didn't actually look this one up, but I looked it up and I found that it is consistent with everything else I've been talking about. So basically, this Juilliard versus Greenman 110 U.S. 421 pending 1884 found that if you don't specifically limit your endorsement of checks and demand that they be redeemed as lawful money, then you will be presumed to be voluntarily using Federal Reserve notes instead. Okay. Now, why is this an issue? Because you, like everyone else, thought that the Federal Reserve notes were true money, but they're not. They're IOUs. And you wonder, why are people killing themselves over it? Why are you working so hard of it if it's not real money? Okay. So our nation, guys, was founded on common law. Okay, American common law, which very simply is, when we say law, it is a collective organization of the individual right to lawful defense. It is the will of the majority, the organization of natural right of lawful defense. In other words, this law, the law, capital L, allows you to do anything and everything that you want to do as long as it does not infringe upon the rights, liberty, and property of another person. Okay. And also, this law does not compel performance, okay? And that's very different than equity law, or there's another form of law, which I believe is called admiralty law. Now, equity law is the jurisdiction of compelled performance, right? It is contract law, all right? And it's based on what is fair in a particular situation. So the term equity denotes the spirit and habit of fairness, justice, and right dealing, which would regulate the intercourse of men with other men. You have no rights other than what is specified in your contract. So this is equity law, has to do with contracts, has to do with commerce. Now, equity jurisdiction has no criminal aspects to it. Okay, and then you also have admiralty law, okay? And admiralty is compelled performance plus criminal penalties if you fail to violate this contract, okay? It's a civil contract with a criminal penalty if you fail to perform. That's super important. Now, why do we bring that up? We bring that up because what does this have to do with paying off debt? Americans were meant to be sovereign. Okay, we were meant to be sovereign over government, but we have been deceived into becoming subjects to government. How so? I'm giving you guys a very step-by-step historical, logical framework about how this is working. It's through the use of negotiable instruments. Well, what the heck is a negotiable instrument? Take a look at that green bill that you've been using to buy stuff and been chasing after your whole life. A Federal Reserve note, okay? Now, through the use of this negotiable instrument, a Federal Reserve note, to discharge your debts with limited liability instead of actually paying your debt, as the common law, which is the Constitution, which it says with gold or silver coin, basically Congress bound all of the states of the Union under a commercial agreement, because using that paper, wish I had some money with me, or some Federal Reserve note with me. This is negotiable paper, guys. This is basically, if you use that, you are taking on a privilege as a federal person, okay? And the privilege is that you get to discharge your debt instead of pay off your debt. To discharge means to kind of put off or to put off later, okay? These are IOUs. They're not backed by any true money. Okay. Now, Congress bound all the states of the Union into a commercial agreement with the federal United States and offering them grants of negotiable paper. The states agreed and accepted the benefit of doing so, but they did not know that we had entered into a commercial contract and a commercial agreement with them, right? Because we're supposed to be paying off debt with gold and silver. But they took away that gold and silver in 1933 when the United States Corporation went bankrupt, okay? Now, now that we're in this commercial agreement with the federal United States and each of the corporate states, i.e. the state of, or the state of in all capital letters, which are corporations, this system has bound all corporate entities of the government together in a system of commercial agreements, which means if you're using this, you are a corporate, a federal person, citizen, resident, or dependent. That's what it's saying. And you have the privilege of being one of those things by discharging your debt with this IOU. Okay? Now, the system, this is bad for 3 reasons. The first reason is because you're no longer under common law. You're now under statutes, ordinances, regulations, codes, mandates. You are now all under those, and you are compelled to perform to keep that law. Okay? Whereas before we used this negotiable paper, and before they pulled this whole birth certificate scam on us, we didn't have to do that. We had our own rights preserved, unalienable rights, and those rights belonged straight for us. We had private rights, and we were under common law, which means that as long as we did not harm or infringe upon the rights, liberty, and property of another person, and as long as there's no body, I forget exactly what they call it. It's like human. I forget exactly what they call it. Hubris, juris, or something like that. I forget, but which basically means that as long as there's show me the body that was injured, okay? As long as no one's was injured, then or harmed, then it's not a crime. Very important, okay? So not only that, but there's another reason. Now you're not seen as a living man, but you're also or woman. You're a corporation using negotiable paper as a benefit to discharge your debt. And lastly, we didn't know we were being scammed, okay? So luckily for us, the fraud vitiates everything. And we've been defrauded in 3 ways. 1, they presume that we are territorial United States citizens. 2, they securitized bonds, debt notes, which is that birth certificate, in your name, and made you an indentured servant owned by the British Crown. And thirdly, they impersonated you as a municipal citizen of the United States unlawfully, converting your proper name to create municipal citizens and corporations of various kinds. All right, so here's the remedy. Correct your status. Go to the state, I forget what it's called, the TSTA? I can never remember what the heck. The American States Assembly, TASA. And correct your status and rebut all presumptions. Record yourself on the land and soil of your birth state. And yeah, other than that, maybe I'll go into depth and a little bit of detail on how I've done mine. I'm with you guys on this. So I've watched a bunch of videos. It's the first time I'm now doing it. I have letters. I have stuff here. I'm doing the work with you guys, and I hope that you guys have. I know you guys do appreciate it, and even if you didn't, I'm blessing you with it anyways. So thank you guys so much for watching. Here's my update. Sorry this one was in 2 parts, but sorry. I needed to double check something. So we will see you guys on our next update.